celebrating the connection with our pets. This is Animal Radio, featuring your dream team, Veterinarian Dr. Debbie White and groomer Joey Villani. And here are your hosts, Hal Abrams and Judy Francis.
And if you could see us now, you see that I'm massaging the studio cat. The studio cat.
She likes
that.
Yeah. Look at her.
Well, she lets me touch her in places that cats usually don't let you touch them, like their belly. Most cats
don't like their belly or their
a
paws.
no-go zone.
That's a no-go zone. But for some reason, she just stands there and lets me rub it back and forth. It makes her feel good. And so I'm learning to massage. But today we're going to have an expert on who's going to tell us exactly how we need to massage our animals, because it's important to massage. I mean, wouldn't you like a massage? Why wouldn't your animals like a massage?
Well, it's more than just that they would like it. It actually has healing benefits, and it helps with stress and chronic disease. So there's more than just petting your pet.
I think we should all give each other a massage here. And what we'll do, we can set up one of these
massage.
lines, group massage,
everybody in a circle.
Get the animals, and then us too. Yeah. Of course.
Well, you get in a circle and you massage the person in front of you, and they massage the person in front of them. You do a circle, and everybody
we're going to do a circle massage right here.
Circle massage, yes. Everybody gets massaged.
Aren't you glad you tuned in now? Okay, which one? They're all ringing. Let's just go to 2. Well, hi, Elizabeth. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Good. Where are you calling from today?
Calling from Orange County, California.
The L.A. area, probably listening on Coast. How can we help you?
I was wondering, I've got an 8-year-old Rottweiler, and he's shedding like crazy, and he's always kind of, sheds a little here and there, and then has like a big one annually or so. But it's like excessive every single day, and it's been since we relocated into a rental while we do some work on our house. Since May. And it's been the whole time that we've been here. It was really hot. This place is really hot. It was a hot house for a while, but it's not hot anymore.
Oh, okay. And is he losing any hair, like in patches? Does he have any kind of skin sores, redness, anything like that?
Nothing like that, and no changes in behavior or general well-being or, appetite, energy, nothing else going on.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, there's a couple of things that could be at play here. There's definitely environmental changes. So whether that's humidity related, if changes in your grooming plan that you're doing for him. So if he's not getting maybe the same kind of brushing or bathing regimen, that would be something to address as well. But you mentioned a big life change, a move to a new home, a new environment, and animals can definitely have stress. Stress-related hair loss. So, not to say your dog's going to need a toupee or anything, but they definitely, the different hormones and chemical messengers involved with the stress response can alter the phase that a dog's hair cycle or a cat's hair cycle is in at any given point in time. So that basically can mean that we can go from a growth phase of hair to shutting down and being a stagnant phase, or vice versa. Okay. So, we can have a situation where we have a lot of hair loss right now. And so that's definitely possible. So there's the different ways we can address that. One would be definitely working on the environmental things, addressing humidity. You mentioned a dry environment. Work on, getting a regular bathing, brushing plan. And, I know Joey has some favorites that he likes, but, things like even using a Furminator.
Right, I've been doing that.
A couple times a week can help really get to, get some of that undercoat out, some of that heavier coat. But then, I like to look. I'm sorry?
Sorry to interrupt. It's okay to do it that often? Like it's okay to furminate him couple times a week like that?
Yeah. And, I try to do it in sessions that are comfortable for the dog. So I don't want it ever to be an unpleasant thing. So if it means you do smaller bouts more frequently, I would rather that, and just try to stay on top of that hair loss there. And then the other thing is, try to address the stress. And there's different ways we can do that. Setting consistent schedules in the home. Dogs thrive on, knowing what the schedule is, knowing what to expect when people are coming home, and trying to make sure that everything is as consistent as possible, from mealtime to exercise time to potty time. But then look at things that we can help internally, and that might be using some different supplements. And I know we work quite a bit with VetriScience, and they have some fabulous products that address some of the behavioral issues, like Composure, which is helps with stressful events, and as well as a skin supplement, their skin strength or derm strength. Those might.
So it's called derm strength.
Yes. So they also have a skin supplement called Derm Strength, which helps and replenishes fatty acids for the hair coat. And these kind of products aren't quick fixes. They're going to be a more gradual way to address the stress and improve your dog's response to the stress in the environment, and hopefully help the hair coat out as well. So you might give that a try as well, and a lot of love. That's a big thing.
Okay, I'll try that. Thank you.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Toll free from the free Animal Radio app for iPhone, Android, and BlackBerry.
Hey, John. Welcome.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing good. Where are you calling from today?
I'm in Florida.
Florida.
So, little north of West Palm Beach and Stewart.
Beautiful day there today?
Oh, yeah. It's great.
Well, Dr. Debbie's right here. What's going on with your animals?
Well, the problem that I have is I have a 100-pound boxer, or almost 100, and I have a mutt, but they drink a lot of water. But what my problem is, I have a water bottle in the garage turned upside down, and the 5-gallon bottle on top of a bowl. It used to only be a 2-gallon, and I put a bigger one on, but it would get all moldy inside. So my vet told me it was okay to use pool water in it, which keeps it clear. But I'm just worried about them drinking so much pool water continuously. I mean, they always have fresh in the house, but they're always outside because they just have to be out with you. And they drink quite a bit, plus other dogs visit, and I probably fill it twice a week.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, definitely in a hot environment. So if we have a large amount of water, we can definitely have some mold accumulation, some different things growing in there. So that's not an ideal situation, and definitely changing it more than twice a week. I'd have to say for any water source, ideally we'd be changing that water daily, because that alone will help decrease the incidence of things growing in that water and just losing its freshness. So that would be one thing. And I'm glad to hear it's out of the sun, because that's the other tip that I was going to recommend, is to keep the water source out of the sun, because that'll definitely hasten the development of green water or slime in there. But I'm not opposed to pool water, and dogs drink pool water as long as we're dealing with the really diluted chlorinated water that's in pools. It's really not a big deal. The problem comes if you have pools that are shocked and that have the high concentration of the chlorine, the chemicals in that. That's when we really don't want to be touching that water. That should not be any business for the doggies at that time. But for everyday water, it's not a big deal. And, some folks, will even add a little bit of bleach to drinking water as a way to keep it safe if you're out hiking. So that's even one thing that we can do, is use some very dilute bleach in the drinking water.
Well, that was my next question, as opposed to, them continuously having the pool water, because I'm just out. I work so much outside, and they're always out with me, and they're just continuously using this bottle. And, they kill it, but it just starts getting green. And that was another suggestion, was 1 tablespoon of bleach per gallon of water. And I wasn't sure about they say it's okay for humans if you let it sit 30 minutes, but I wasn't sure for these guys, or just stay with the pool water and I'm fine.
Yeah, I could see a benefit with the bleach, and I think what you said is much higher than what I typically use. I only use about 8 drops per gallon for the sanitizing that water. So at that level, you might pick up a little bit of an odor of bleach, but you just kind of let it sit, like you said, and it should be okay for long-term ingestion. But you don't want to eyeball it. You really want to measure it out, because you get enough bleach ingested, and that could be a problem if you're just kind of winging it on the dilution there.
Hey, Doc, what about those spigots? Aren't there spigots that you can turn on but don't drip the water where the dog drinks, and it only comes out when the dog drinks from it? Aren't there things like that? So that's a great setup as well. If you can do that, and if you have the water source where you can set that up outside. So that's a nice alternative as well. Because you definitely want to have fresh water. There's so many different protozoas that can, even just in a sitting bowl of water. Yeah. So whether or not we're having large amounts, things like Giardia, which is a protozoa that, it's just a common everyday thing. We can find it in dog bowls, cat bowls, if the water in the bowl is not changed frequently enough. So that is imperative. And definitely we want those dogs to drink tons of water. It's good for them. And especially if they're out and they're active in that high temperature, we want to give lots of fresh water for them.
and it's a high temperature, but it's the humidity. Like on my back porch, even where the pool is, I'll get like mold, slime. They'll start to grow on the glass on the sliding doors. It gets funky back there, even where they drink out of the pool. But the pool is fine, but it's just it's just kind of it's just the way that our state is, with the humidity.
Yeah, John, you make me thrilled that I live in a desert environment. I don't have to worry about mosquitoes. I don't have to worry about green slime. It's great out here.
When you started this call, I wanted to be there in Florida with you. Now not so much.
Call me around Christmas time. You got because you have the tarantulas and the.
We got our own share of fun and games.
Scorpions and the big spiders.
Well, thank you for your call today. We appreciate it, John.
This portion of Animal Radio is underwritten by Kensington Books. This holiday season, curl up with the 12 Days of Snowball by Kristen McKenna. It's an adorably funny novel featuring a matchmaking cat named Snowball. The 12 Days of Snowball. It's a perfect holiday read for animal lovers or anyone looking for romance. Pick up your copy today anywhere books are sold or visit KristenMcKenna.com. That's KristenMcKanagh.com. And thanks, Kensington, for underwriting Animal Radio.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Call the Dream Team now with the free Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android.
Hi, Joanne Worley on Animal Radio. Hello! And please spay and neuter your pets. Be a responsible pet owner. As a matter of fact, spay and neuter your friends' pets also. Give it to them as a present. What a good idea.
The old way of living with diabetes is a pain. You've got to remember to do your testing and always need to stick your fingers to test your blood sugar. The new way to live your life with diabetes is with a continuous glucose monitor. Apply a discrete sensor on your body, and it continuously monitors your glucose levels, helping you spend more time in range and freeing you from painful finger sticks. If you are living with type 1 or type 2 diabetes and you administer insulin 3 or more times per day or use an insulin pump, you might be eligible for a CGM through your insurance benefits. U.S. Med partners with over 500 private insurance companies and Medicare. We offer free shipping, 90-day supplies, and we bill your insurance. Call us today for a free benefits check.
800-785-1673. 800-785-1673. 800-785-1673. That's 800-785-1673.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Call the Dream Team now with the free Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android.
We're just about 10 minutes away from a check from the Animal Radio newsroom. And Miss Lori Brooks, what do you have for us this hour?
There's an ESA story. You remember that means?
ESA.
Emotional
Support.
Animal.
Okay.
Right. There's a guy who's got an ESA that I've never heard of anybody having before.
Uh-oh.
This will be interesting. Yeah. I was thinking, don't you think maybe instead of just doctors, that maybe doctors and veterinarians, Dr. Debbie, should be writing the note to say that this person requires it. The doctor would do that, and then the veterinarian would say, yes, this person is in good standing with me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I like that idea.
Yeah.
This isn't just a weird emotional support animal, is it? Because I'm hearing about this all the time.
Yeah, it is, but there's another angle of the story that you hear about all the time. But this story is just bizarre because I have never even heard. In fact, I'm not even sure this animal is, I don't want to say capable, but I don't know. It's a wild animal.
Emotional support, that could be a worm.
They don't have to be capable of doing anything. They just have to bring you comfort.
If this worm...
You're right.
If
you
they
are absolutely
comfort
right.
Makes me comfortable. My emotional support, and it doesn't need an extra seat on a plane, and rarely causes any problems, except with germ freaks, neat freaks.
A worm. I will never forget that one, guys.
See, I want to support cricket.
Emotional support cricket.
Emotional support.
You
cricket.
just like the sound of the.
Yeah, the sound would be soothing.
I love crickets too.
And it's so hard to get the vest on.
Okay, let's go to the phone. Save us, please.
Well, good morning, Robin. I have Dr. Debbie here for you. What's going on?
Well, I have two pugs. One is a pug mix, and the full pug recently had tapeworms. A groomer discovered this situation, and I treated her, gave her the pills and all seems to be well. However, my second dog does not seem to have any visible signs of having this, but I am suspicious because sometimes he thinks that his little buddy's poop is a dessert and will sometimes imbibe. So I'm worried about the other dog, and it seems to me only logical that I probably should treat him for the tapeworm also, even though he does not seem to have any symptoms.
Yeah, no, I agree, Robin. I think you really ought to, because, the tapeworm isn't necessarily, it's not infectious between dog to dog. So what happens is they're actually getting infected from some other host. And generally we have a problem with fleas in households. Yeah. So, a lot of times I actually ran into someone at the dog park one day, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, my dogs have tapeworms and they're giving it to each other back and forth. My vet said," and I was like, "Oh my God, your vet said your dog gave your other dog tapeworms? That's so wrong." So wrong. But they're getting them from, the fleas. They're getting them from things like different insects that carry the flea parasite, or the tapeworm parasite. So, yes, I would definitely deworm them and make sure they're on a regular, flea and tick strategy as well as internal parasite deworming.
Yes, I had slipped up on that because I hadn't seen any fleas, and the groomer commented that there were just very few, like one or two on the one dog, but that must have been the carrier,
Yeah.
Now, and a sub question here would be, if I examined the stool from the dog that did not get treated for the tapeworm, would I be likely to determine then if he has them?
No, that's the hard thing. Yes. So you cannot actually look at a stool sample and say that they don't have tapeworms. Likewise, if you bring me a poop sample and I send it into the lab and we do a fecal test for parasites, dogs that have tapeworms commonly have negatively reported fecal tests. And this is always very confusing when I tell people this. They're always very angry. Why? I saw the worms on the poop. How come you can say they don't have worms? Tapeworms are very sneaky, so they actually kind of live inside. They don't have to come outside. You may be fortunate enough to see a little bit on the anal area. They look like little dried rice, or on fresh fecal material. But just looking for them is not necessarily going to prove if you've cured them. Now, if you do see them, yes, I believe you've got them. But the absence of seeing tapeworms doesn't mean you don't have them.
I see. But
so,
you do definitely think that I should just routinely treat the other one just to make sure.
Oh, yeah. And I would say definitely treat the other one right now. And if you battle with fleas on a regular basis, throughout the year, it is a wise strategy to deworm on a regular basis. And there's a lot of different types of flea, tick, and heartworm products that include treating for tapeworm. Sometimes you have to do that separately. So it's just a matter of, finding out what your veterinarian is using and what they want you to use for everything.
I see. All right. Well, I thank you very much.
All right. Thanks for the call.
Well, don't forget, you can get your fix of animal radio anytime you want with the Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android. Download it now. It's made possible by Fear-Free Happy Homes, helping your pets live their happiest, healthiest, fullest lives at home, at the vet, and everywhere in between. Visit them at fearfreehappyhomes.com. And thanks, Fear-Free, for underwriting Animal Radio.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Call the Dream Team now with the free Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android.
Hello, this is Jane Goodall on Animal Radio. And I'd just like everybody to realize that each day you live, you make some difference on the planet. And you can choose what kind of difference you're going to make. And hopefully every day you'll try to make the world a little bit better for people, for animals, and for the environment.
Do you have Medicare and do you use a CPAP machine? This is a national healthcare alert regarding your CPAP supplies. Using a clean CPAP mask and clean supplies is important to staying healthy. The best way to make sure your CPAP equipment is clean is to get new supplies. If you have Medicare, we have great news. Medicare will pay for you to have new clean supplies every 90 days. We'll even do all the paperwork for you to make sure that there's little to no out-of-pocket cost to you. And you don't even have to leave your home. We provide free in-home delivery. So if you're a CPAP user and you have Medicare, staying healthy with new CPAP equipment is easy. Just make this free phone call right now to get started.
Sponsored by Specialty Medical. 800-485-4409. 800-485-4409. 800-485-4409. That's 800-485-4409.
This is an Animal Radio News Update.
I'm Lori Brooks. Yes, all dogs' souls go to heaven. But what you do with their earthly bodies after they leave, that's up to you. I say this because now you see you have more options. There is cremation, of course, bury them at a pet cemetery, or even as we talked about a few weeks ago, turning their ashes into synthetic diamonds, which is pretty expensive, starting at about $2,500 for the smallest size diamond. However, today we have another option for you. And gardeners and environmentalists, you especially, are going to love this. Now you can have your pet composted. Composted by a company called Rooted Pet in Washington State. This method uses a lot less energy than firing up a big cremation oven, and requires less land than a graveyard. It's kind of like dust to dust, returning to the earth. Now, this isn't really a new idea. In fact, it's the same method that a lot of farms use to dispose of dead livestock, and it is how a lot of states these days deal with roadkill. But here's how Rooted Pet does it. And believe it or not, the process is done indoors. And then in 6, sometimes 8 weeks later, it is all turned into dirt, basically. A really great, dark, rich compost, which they say looks and smells like any compost that you would use in the garden. So once your pet becomes compost, you do have some choices. The company says you can let them use it on their farm for a tree planting project, or they can send you a potted house plant growing in your pet's compost. How novel is that?
That is
what
novel.
A brilliant idea.
Wow.
I know you're wondering how much does it cost? Because, I think it's very comparable to pet cremation. It's about $200 for pets between 21 and 50 pounds, and a little bit less, like $20 less for the medium size. And then for small animals like birds and fish up to, 5 pounds or less is $149.
For free, I can bury Fluffy out by the old oak tree, and it will
compost.
pretty much do the same thing, won't he?
Yeah, but it's not, I don't know. I guess in some places you can't do that.
I think it is illegal in a lot of places that you're not allowed to bury them in your yard anymore. But, my concern would be if I got a potted plant, would my other animals smell it and want to dig in it?
No. It's not like they would smell it like, ooh, that's a dead animal, or ooh, that is Spot or Fluffy or Binky. No. It would be just like what you would get at, Lowe's or Home Depot on the weekend, and you get a big bag of, compost. It's not potting soil, it's compost. So it's really rich, organic, all natural organic matter with, it's really healthy for plants.
Geez,
Elsie.
It's
a great idea.
Your zucchini just tastes fabulous this year.
Yeah, you might not want to tell people that you grew their tomatoes in that, but I think it's very cool, and we're always into bringing you new things. So
you are, and you know what? Now instead of being cremated or buried, I want to be composted.
Yeah.
Let me think about that one. There's a man living in Florida who is facing eviction from his condominium unless he refuses to part with his ESA. Quick.
Emergency or emotional service animal.
Emotional support animal.
Okay.
I'm trying to train you because this is something we're going to be hearing a lot about. But in this case, the ESA is a squirrel.
Okay.
Well, whatever it takes,
The man
right?
rescued this female squirrel who's in this I don't get. He named it Brutus. So obviously he's not a conventional guy. But he rescued her shortly after Hurricane Matthew. He says she is really just like a cat, except she hides nuts. And pecans and hazelnuts, by the way, are Brutus's favorites. And he claims that he has the required doctor's note, saying that he needs Brutus because he suffers from anxiety related to a car accident that happened more than 10 years ago. But nevertheless, the Condo Association says Brutus is a wild animal and belongs outdoors, and they have given him 1 month to find her a new home.
Damn.
I'm telling you, there's going to be so many cases over this stuff. I'm Lori Brooks. Get more breaking animal news anytime at animalradio.com.
This has been an Animal Radio News Update. Get more at animalradio.com.
And I want, and I need, and I
Hey there, animal lovers. Vinny Penn, your party animal on Animal Radio. On a recent installment, I told you guys about the beloved family dog, Cruiser. We had several pets in my house growing up. Cruiser probably is the one on the biggest pedestal. He was a mini schnauzer. Yes, all you guys out there with German shepherds and beautiful labs and Rottweilers are thinking, "Wow, Vinny Penn had a mini schnauzer." But I'll tell you, he was awfully cool. Even though what I'm about to tell you might make you question that even more. Nonetheless, told you about Cruiser recently. And ironically enough, right after that installment, moving a few boxes around in the house that we grew up in that my sister had since bought from my parents. And she kept Cruiser's chew toys, which I think is a bit over the top. I don't know. Nasty, dust bunny riddled chew toys, all masticated with big holes in them. Maybe some dog lovers out there who've lost their dog, you keep such things. I believe there are certain things worth keeping, like the collar with the, especially if you have the name on it and whatnot. The chew toy is a little over the top, but then again, my sister puts the rat in pack rat, so maybe that's the reason. Nonetheless, what we also found in another box, or what I found, was what I used to call Cruiser's Liberace sweater. Yes. Now, bad enough, I'm not a big believer in sweaters on dogs in the first place, although I have seen some cool things. I recently saw a dog actually with a CBGB T-shirt on. I thought that was pretty cool. Certainly a way to strike up a conversation with the ladies. But one holiday season, my mom bought Cruiser a sweater that could only be described as a Liberace sweater. Liberace, for those of you who don't know, was a rather flamboyant, outrageously dressed pianist. This sweater just screamed. Well, it begs the question. This is the point of this week's party animal. This is what leads to the question. I think my mother thought Cruiser was gay. It's the only thing that I could come up with. My mother has since passed away, so I can't ask her. But when I found Cruiser's Liberace sweater, I thought, why did she buy this for him? It's not remotely masculine. The design, Cruiser's boy. Did my mother think Cruiser was a gay dog? And does that exist? Is there such a thing as gay dogs and gay cats? I gotta say no. I watched Cruiser frolic with other dogs. He really didn't treat the boy. Well, there was that one friend of mine who had a dog named Thor, and Cruiser used to mount him. But don't they just mount, boy or girl? Look, it's not going to change my feelings about Cruiser if I were to now discover, hey, I had a gay mini schnauzer. It's not going to change. I'm not going to go home and tear up that picture of the two of us on the beach that I hold so dear. But has there ever been any scientific studies? Have we determined if animals are capable of this? Or all I know at the end of the day is gay or straight. Cruiser, I love you. I miss you. But I got to say, I would prefer if Mom just bought you my owner went to Florida and all I got was this stupid doggy T-shirt. Vinny Penn, party animal, Animal Radio.
Alan Cable. Hope you're doing well. And now for your listening pleasure, a baby and a husky imitating each other. You know, a big consideration for most folks when they go out to get a new dog are the kids. So I'm going to tell you which breeds experts say are the best with kids. At number 5, the durable bulldog. He's got a sweet disposition and he tires out real easily. At number 4, a breed that seems to be disappearing. You don't see very many anymore, maybe because they're so energetic and they need so much exercise. The Irish Setter, one of my personal favorites. These guys are fun-loving comedians. They're really sweet dogs. But again, they need tons of exercise. The top 3 coming up after the husky and the baby go at it imitating each other again. Reminds me of that movie Ted with Mark Wahlberg. At number 3 on the list of best dogs to get when you have kids, the poodle. They're loyal, tolerant, and they shed very little. So they're a really good dog to get if your child might have allergies. Again, though, despite what Joey Villani says, research shows that dogs can be embarrassed. So please don't make your poodle look like Lady Gaga. We're counting down the top breeds that are great with kids. At number 2 on the list, the Labrador Retriever. These dogs are loyal, protective, and they love to play. They also come in 3 colors, white, black, and brown. And the number 1 best dog to get if you have kids, according to the experts, the Golden Retriever. Golden Retrievers are very loyal and patient dogs. You know how little kids are, and Goldens will put up with a lot. But it's still very important to remember, no matter what kind of dog you have, and no matter how sweet and loving he is, never leave your dog alone with your child. Your dog might not mean to hurt your child, but because he's so much bigger, it could easily happen. Thank you, baby and husky. This is Alan Cable, and next time, a great training technique. Remember, good dog.
I represent low-cost airlines, and we know a lot of you are not traveling right now, and we understand. However, if you do need to travel between now and the end of the year, now is a great time to lock in some of the lowest prices we've seen in a lifetime. Hey, in normal times, we can save you up to 75%, but now airlines are practically giving away seats. We have inside deals on over 500 airlines. Here are a few sample round-trip deals we found. Seattle to Vegas, $35. Chicago to Atlanta, $85. Los Angeles to Atlanta, $100. Of course, there are some limitations, but the airlines want your business right now. And cancellation and change fees are flexible. So fly somewhere this year, book now, save a ton, call right now.
802-341-4532, 802-341-4532, 802-341-4532. That's 802-341-4532.
You're listening to Animal Radio. If you missed any part of today's show, visit us at animalradio.com or download the Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android.
It's Animal Radio, celebrating the connection with our pets, your pets. On next, we have Tracy Vroom. I just love that name. Vroom.
I do too.
Vroom, vroom.
Vroom.
She is a craniosacral therapist.
What is that?
I have no clue. I'm going to ask her. She is an instructor at the Rocky Mountain School of Animal Acupressure and Massage. And she's joining us right now. Hi, welcome, Tracy. How are you doing?
Hi, thank you.
What is a craniosacral therapist?
Well, it's a type of body work and energy work that we apply to the animals. We work with them to work with the nervous system and find patterns in the body that are limiting their health or causing challenges with their health. And so it's a very light palpation, but it's a beautiful, gentle technique, and the animals seem to just love it.
So we're talking specifically about dogs, or are we talking about dogs and cats and horses? What?
Everybody.
Okay, all of them. So I could give my cat a massage if I wanted to, is what you're saying?
Absolutely. I have in my practice quite a few cats.
If I wanted to start doing it, how would I learn to do the massages for my cats to make sure I didn't screw it up? And can you screw it up?
Well, I think with any technique you could potentially do harm, but I think the focus, when I'm teaching students, we talk a lot about being mindful, and so the first thing you want to do is make sure the cat or the dog, whatever animal you're working with, is interested. They're interested in a massage. They're they're saying, yes, that's great. So we ask, it's like asking permission. I do a couple test massages with a flat hand. So if I start at the head and just run my hand down the back, if the animal says, yes, this seems interesting, then I can start to go into deeper, longer massage. But if they say no, then and they walk away, then we let it go. But so the first step is just engaging the animal and making sure they're interested.
Are there certain areas that I should completely stay away from?
We try to not use a lot of pressure on, let's say, the low leg or the areas of the muzzle where you're over the teeth. Any sensitive area where it's close to the bones are close to the surface. So the spine. We don't really massage the spine area. We massage the big muscles and the legs and the neck and even the top of the head. That's all fine. But we just avoid the areas where it would feel too pokey or uncomfortable.
And I have to say, okay, I know, Hal, you always think I'm so science-centered. But, I do at least a monthly massage. I've started to dabble in going to folks for energy work, from everything from Reiki to sound baths. So I find this very intriguing, and I think it's just not really well recognized and studied that this is potentially an alternative therapy we can bring into veterinary care. So I find that very interesting, that kind of marriage of using this type of therapy along with a lot of, the other traditional scientific approaches to chronic disease and illness.
I think you're right. It's been used with humans for a very long time, and there are many studies out there about the compression that happens in the skull, and so between the plates of the bones of the skull, and when they're not moving freely, that there are emotional issues and physical issues, and there's a science behind it. It restricts the spinal fluid from feeding the nervous system, so there is a true science behind the work. But I think a lot of people are put off by that it is the word energy comes in, and they say, oh, wait a minute, not interested.
Yeah, well, and cats, things with cats, they are little stress monsters sometimes. So, we can have chronic bladder problems. People may mistakenly treat them for, bladder infections, and they actually have excessive stress in their life. So I think that addressing this component can be really life-changing for a lot of pets if we can get that care that they need. I just got to schedule the time. Gosh, it's hard for me to get a massage scheduled out for my dogs.
It's true. It's true. I think if you just think about it in terms of take 5-10 minutes to do a little T-touch, a little massage. I've been working with Petwell for the last couple months talking about the massagers that they've created to make it a little easier for people to work with their pets. They developed a line of products that they have instructions on the packaging, and they say take 5 minutes and use the roller tool on the back and neck and see what happens. So I think it's interesting that they've taken a little bit of the stress out of making a mistake for the owners.
Is massage different on a young dog as compared to an old dog? In other words, is there a place where an old dog might like it more?
I think the cautionary with the older dogs is the young dogs. We have at this Rocky Mountain School of Animal Acupressure and Massage, we have a class geared towards general massage. Then we have the athlete, and so an athletic massage would be very different than a senior massage. So our level 3 class is about seniors. So we are really cautious if the dog has any joint or hip pain, that we are really gentle over the joints. But it can be hugely beneficial for dogs with joint disease, degenerative joint disease like arthritis, to keep that joint a little more supple. So if we can go over those areas where they say, ouch, you'll see them kind of hold their breath, or their eyes will get a little, hard, or they'll close their eyes even to say, I don't know about that. We just go softer in those areas.
If people want to learn more about what you're doing, is there a website?
Yes. My website is tracyvroom.com. And the massage school's website, if you want to get certified, if it really excites you as far as a career, you can go to rmsaam.com. So it's the initials of the school.com.
And we'll put links to everything you've heard on today's show over at animalradio.pet. Tracy Vroom, I just like saying that. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much.
We're going to head back to the phones for your calls next.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Call the Dream Team now with the free Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android.
Hi, this is Justin Tyler Ferguson from Modern Family. I'm on Animal Radio. Adopt a pet.
Attention sports fans, now you can watch every football game you want all season long without leaving your home with Dish for about $50 a month. Compared to your cable bill, you can save almost $600 a year. Call right now and sign up for Dish and watch every football game you want. With Dish, there are no boxes to pay, plus get free installation as soon as tomorrow if you call now. And with Dish Anywhere, you can watch your favorite sports and channels on your smartphone, tablet, or laptop. Be one of the first 100 orders right now and get a free voice remote. Don't miss a single football game all year long and save a ton of money. Get a free voice remote and free installation as soon as tomorrow. But you gotta call All American Dish right now.
800-380-4452. 800-380-4452. 800-380-4452. That's 800-380-4452.
Celebrating the connection with our pets. This is Animal Radio, featuring your dream team, Veterinarian Dr. Debbie White and groomer Joey Villani. And here are your hosts, Hal Abrams and Judy Francis.
Coming up this hour, a guy who started a cat cafe in Chicago. Apparently, this is the new rave all across the world. They have these places where you can sometimes go in, have a cup of coffee. There's cats all running around. They're supposed to calm you.
Can you hear that?
We're at a cat cafe.
Yeah, can you hear the purring? That is amazing. That is Moxie. Wow, Moxie is quite a purr. Holy moly.
She sure is. She may get a part-time job at a cat cafe. I don't know. She's going to have to pay for all this awesome care and all these cat toys and tunnels. And my goodness, being a cat owner is so different than a dog owner. You got to have different things to excite them and give them entertainment from one minute to the next.
And they still don't respect
you. And then you need to wear rubber pants when they crawl up your
absolutely.
leg.
And then you pull out the plastic bag, and it's the best toy in the whole house.
Absolutely.
Or the box that the expensive toy that you purchased came in.
So how is that Moxie thing going?
Yes. The Moxie report is she's doing very good. We are having a little problem with the biting. She's definitely not responding to correction with the biting. So we're trying to I'm trying to learn better to recognize when she's about to bite and then to swiftly get her off my lap.
Well, now, aren't cats chewers and biters anyway by trade?
Yeah, and she is. She is exploring her environment, but it's in a different context. It's while she's being held and purring, looking lovey at you, and then all of a sudden she bites your finger. So that's the kind of bite that I'm not enjoying. I don't mind if she's playing and we're doing a little cat dancer toy or something like that. I expect she's gonna be bouncing around. So we're working on that, but otherwise she's grown leaps and bounds, and she's almost 12 weeks now, so about 11 weeks right now. Mm-hmm.
And I hope you're taking lots of videos for whoever you're fostering her for.
Yes. Oh, videos, photos. Yes, it's kind of ridiculous. I'm already planning the holiday outfit. So, I have some little reindeer ears that I think may be appropriate. So I'm going to try to see if I can find that or the Santa hat that will work out. So we'll get ready.
You're treating the cat like a dog.
She's responding like a dog. She chases, she plays fetch. She actually, get this, I've actually gotten her now to jump up on the table and we are brushing her teeth.
Oh, that's good. To start that early. That is really, really good. You know what I did with my cat, the one that's sitting here in my lap, letting me rub her belly, is you'll notice that I can also stick my finger in between her claws and rub her and massage her hands. She doesn't claw me or anything like that.
That's amazing.
Because I started that young, when she was really, really young. And if you can get there, especially the brushing the teeth thing, because I won't be able to ever do that. I'll be honest with you. We give all kinds of advice here, like you should be brushing teeth all the time. But I just have trouble brushing my cat's teeth. Cat doesn't like that whatsoever.
You just got to start young. That's it. That's all I can say.
That's the trick.
Shall we take some calls? Are we ready? Yeah, let's go to the phones for you, Dr. Debbie.
Okay.
Welcome to the show, Matt.
Thanks. How are you all today?
Great.
Good. Dr. Debbie, I got a question for you about my about 5.5-year-old golden doodle.
All righty. What you got?
He had PPLO surgery about 6 weeks ago. And I was wondering how soon is too soon to, let him go to the groomer and get himself cleaned up. He's kind of getting to be a stinky little fella.
TPLO.
So I'm going to have to explain for Hal.
Yes,
TPLO
thank you.
surgery. I knew that question was coming. TPLO surgery is done for dogs that have a ruptured cruciate ligament, which is one of the major ligaments in the knee. So just like a football player that blows out their knee, taking that turn and making that catch, dogs jumping off a couch or catching a frisbee can blow out the knee the same way. Okay. So your doggy ruptured that. Now, how's he getting along post-surgery at this time?
You know, the next day he actually walked out of the vet underneath his own power, and he's been doing great. The hardest thing is keeping him calm. He wants to jump on everything, and I've got to. Yeah, that's the hardest part of it. He amazingly is doing well. He did rip out all his stitches after 7 days, or his staples, I should say.
I'm not
Crazy
surprised.
dog.
He may have what we term goofy retriever syndrome. I'm sorry, I've coined that because I have one myself. He's a goofy retriever. Prone to just trouble. Are you having difficulty keeping him from doing things at this point now, huh?
Yeah, we really are. We had taken our half of our bed and put it downstairs as to keep him off the stairs, and stuff like that. But now we are walking him up the stairs on the lead. We've never had to harness his back, but we are having a hard time keeping him down. Like when he sees other dogs out the window, he wants to run around the living room. Kind of hard to slow him down. Yeah. And when he wants to go real fast, he just lifts the leg up and then hops around on three. It's kind of hysterical, but,
He takes the slow leg out from underneath him, and then he can really move.
Yes, exactly. That's go-fast mode.
Yeah. Well, with a dog that recovers from a TPLO surgery, normally the healing time we're looking at about 2 to 3 months out. And about 8 weeks after the surgery is when ideally we ought to get an x-ray to see how the bone is healing, because there is a plate involved with that. And we want to make sure that there's good healing callus of that bone there. That might make some difference in whether or not we want to give you a kind of free rein to get into some of the grooming activities. I'd have to say because he has goofy retriever syndrome, then we might push that back as far as we can for your typical standard type grooming. That being said, there are some dogs that I have to get some kind of grooming done, whether they're just stinky, dirty from being post surgery or what have you. If we do have to get him to a groomer or do a home bathing, there are some precautions that I would do, and one is to use a non-stick mat in the bathing tub, because that's very important. We don't want him slipping and losing his footing in any way. And jumping in and out of a tub is a horrible thing for a dog after this type of surgery. So if possible, we'd try to either do this. I've even bathed some dogs in our dog runs at the office, where we don't have to even worry about the up and down, and that helps to kind of make us feel better about that whole experience. And then, know your dog and know your groomer. If it seems like it's something they can pull off without risk of injury, then it may be okay. But for a lot of these really silly, exuberant retrievers, I would push off the true grooming until we're cleared by the doctor that everything's healed.
Okay, no, that sounds good. I could deal with most of it. It's just his face is getting kind of crusty, and I wasn't sure how to handle that. Getting all stiff.
My dogs, they love a good hot rag on their face, and I call it the doggy spa. So they come and I get the hot warm towels, and I put on their face, and they push and shove and push their way up. They get their ears clean and get the doggy spa. So, even something as simple as that may make him feel good. And, just like us, you got to look good to feel good. So,
absolutely. And consequently, Dr. Debbie, this is the one I called you on about 2.5 months ago, that I wanted to get a second opinion on him. I thought it was a bad diagnosis, and it did turn out that it was.
You were right.
I'm glad I did. I did go get that second opinion, and I'm glad I did.
Great to hear.
Isn't she the best doctor around? That's why come here, give me a hug.
All right.
Thank you. He's giving me noogies here.
A lot of love in the room right now. We have Pam for Dr. Debbie. Hi, Pam. How are you?
I rescued this kitten about, it's been almost a year. I haven't had her spaded yet. I don't know if she's coming in heat or what, but she cries. I mean, like maybe once or twice out of the month, she'll like this crying sound.
Okay. And what is she doing when she's crying? Is she trying to track you down, trying to come closer to you? Is she by the doors?
Okay, I have 4 other cats, but they're all spaded. They've been spaded since they were real little. Mm-hmm. And she'll go up to them and lay down or try to rub up against them.
Okay, I'll tell you what, Pam. The simple truth, it sounds like your cat is just horny. It really does. Kitties will.
Night, I brought a kitten from downstairs that hadn't been fixed up here. Well, he's.
Why? Are you looking for trouble here?
No, I'm not. But I wanted to find out if she was really in heat. And she slapped him. She got mad at him. She hissed at him. Her hair stood up.
That's love.
So I.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, for kittens or for cats, they can go into heat generally about 6 months. But, I've seen some female cats go into heat as early as 4 or 5 months of age. But when they do go into heat, it's pretty obnoxious. They'll definitely kind of meow, carry on. A lot of times they'll take their backside and stick it towards their favorite loved one, whether it's either a person or another animal. And they'll stick their tail up really high, do a lot of rolling behavior. Now, and they'll go in and out of heat, and that's the crazy thing with cats, is that it just doesn't stop. Like a dog will go into heat twice a year generally, and you're done and over with it. With cats, you can count on this fun pretty much year-round, because they'll go into heat for a couple days, and then they'll go out for a couple weeks, and then it'll come back. So, yeah. Exactly. I'd say get that taken care of. But my goodness, you tempt fate getting that boy around there. And, the way that cats mate, when they're mating, they actually turn around and they fight. So, there's a little bit of love there, but there's also a little bit of hate.
Oh, okay.
And you asked something, is she in pain? We don't know. It's certainly possible that cats could be having cramps. We don't know. So, I guess you'd make the argument, heck, most women hate their periods, so, why not spare her that heartache there? So.
Very good. Thanks for your call today. We appreciate it, Pam.
Alan Cable, it's time now for you and your dog. Want to hear that?
Yeah. Who's the cute fuzzy little... Who's got the fuzzy... Who's got the cute little fuzzy... Oh, your nose is so wet. Oh, yes, it is. Oh, yes, it... No, off the table. Good baby. You want a treat? Mommy loves you. Mommy loves you. Woohoo! No, I'm going to scratch the special spot on your tummy to make sure little leg kick. Oh, yeah.
I love that part. And now, Times Animals Interrupted news reports. Here's a kitty that decided to jump on the news person's shoulder while she's reporting.
Oh, my goodness. That's a way to start a Thursday, Nicole.
Here's a weather guy at the zoo in Australia when a pelican decides to bite him on the bottom.
Do you love it?
The anchor guy says, do you love it?
Let me go! Do you love it? I'm going to be mentally scarred.
This is
Animal Radio, baby.
This holiday season, we're in for a treat with the 12 Days of Snowball by Kristen McKenna, a heartwarming novel partly told from the perspective of a mischievous feline named Snowball. Snowball considers herself the official matchmaker for any lonely humans in her life, and it's a job she takes very seriously, especially at Christmas. The 12 Days of Snowball by Kristen McKenna is available everywhere books are sold. For more info, visit KristenMcKenna.com. That's KristenMcKenna.com.
In just a few minutes, we're going to talk to the guy who created the Cat Cafe in Chicago. And yes, Lori looks at me every time I say guy because what? Guys can't like cats? Is that what you're saying? What's
that's not at all. It's just I've seen a picture of this guy, Christopher, right?
Yes.
And he doesn't look like you would expect. He doesn't look like you. You're Mr. Mellow. I don't know how Christopher is. I've never met him, but, with those tats and everything, and he's pretty handy. It just doesn't strike me as a cat guy.
You know what? I think in a time and an age, there is so much sexual harassment and abuse being revealed. I got to say that I'm a little offended because I think any guys with muscles, guys with tattoos, guys that drive Harleys, guys that drive trucks. We have lots of drivers who have their cats with them. They drive truck all across the country. We like cats, too, and there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing. In fact, there's nothing. I would say sexier, but that's probably not appropriate in this climate either.
There you go. Once again, where is the human resources director here at Animal Radio? What are you working on over there in the newsroom, Miss Brooks?
We've got the mother of all my dog or your dog or any dog is, or any pet is good for your health. This study is so long and of so many people. We'll tell you the results.
Let's hit the phones with Cheryl. Hey, Cheryl, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. What's going on in your world?
Well, I have a 5-year-old mixed breed dog who is part shepherd, female, and she is having issues with bladder stones. About 4 months ago, we had one removed, and she has another.
Okay. Did you have the stone analyzed? Do we know what it was made out of?
No, we did not do that one. We will on this one. I still have that stone, actually.
Oh, well, excellent. You take that to your veterinarian and send that out. The reason is because it's so important that we know what these stones are made of. Some stones we can prevent with diet. Some breeds are kind of predisposed to a certain variety of stones. There's calcium-based stone, phosphorus, silica, urate. Oh my gosh, there's so many. In German Shepherds, I would first think of a silica-based stone. It's one that this type of breed is just prone to. And so that's where that test is going to be so important to have that analyzed. If it is, it can be a very challenging stone to prevent, but some steps that we'll do are to move to diets that are very low in vegetable matter. So for pets that have this particular type of stone, we'll go to more of a no-grain diet. But the big thing is if anything is reoccurring, we got to make some steps and do some dietary changes to try to help out. And then the other things going along with that, any type of bladder stone, the ways we can help a pet to expel those crystals and the microscopic forms of those stones is to make sure they're producing lots and lots of urine. And the way we do that is we encourage them to drink, but you can't always force it down. But we can add things like a little bit of salt to the food, and that increases their thirst, and that'll increase the urine output. The other thing would be just a simple way to do that is canned foods have a higher moisture content. So whatever diet your veterinarian says is going to be the appropriate one for your baby, the canned varieties are definitely going to be the better way to go to just try to create lots of urine. And that way, we help to kind of basically flush the system naturally and try to get those crystals out before they build up into a stone.
Hello, Animal Radians. It's Robert Semro, your Pet World Insider, here with this week's Animal Radio list. 5 must-give and low-cost gifts for your pet this season. The holidays are here, and you're scrambling to find that perfect gift for everyone on your list. Even Santa is feeling the pressure to deliver. Since you don't have the luxury of elves, I thought I would help my Animal Radio friends out with some advice that I've learned over the years from my friends at the North Pole. Let's begin with socks. Socks are not just for feet, they're also for making play toys for dogs and cats who can be entertained and energized playing with a sock. We all have a missing match for a sock or two, as we know the sock goblins always seem to grab one when we're doing laundry. Or maybe it's our beloved pets saying that they would like a new sock toy created with care and love by someone they treasure. So a DIY sock toy for your pet should be on your list this year. Next up is a homemade treat baked at home by you. That's a great way to treat your pet this year. I'm putting this in the no-cost category because it's very likely that you have the ingredients in your kitchen to make a simple but enjoyable treat for your cat or dog. It doesn't take a lot of ingredients, time, or money to create a treat that will warm your heart and fill their belly. And remember, there are a lot of easy recipes on the web as well as YouTube. Even I have a YouTube channel featuring many recipes for homemade pet treats. Next up, cardboard boxes are more than something to put your gifts in. In fact, cats, dogs, birds, and more often find a box very entertaining. If you want to add a little excitement for them, add a treat or two inside, and you'll see a motivated pet go to work with joy and excitement over this simple and convenient gift. Okay, this next one is one that always gets an all moment from those who hear the story, and yes, those who receive it. It's the T-shirt, pillow, bed, window rest. And it's as simple as it sounds. You're going to take a few of your older, ready-to-be-retired t-shirts and stuff them into an older pillowcase or even one of the t-shirts, and you're going to seal the ends with a little bit of sewing or tie them off if you can't sew. Your pets will love this because it's a part of you, and you are what they treasure. Finally, the number one no-cost gift that you can and must give your pet this season is your time. Your pet needs this, and so do you. You are a family, and at this time of year, family is what matters most. Play a game of hide and seek, fetch, or even just snuggle up and watch your favorite holiday movie with them on your lap or in your arms. The holidays are meant for creating special memories that last forever, especially with your pets. Share your no-cost must-give pet gift suggestions this year on our Animal Radio Facebook page.
Hi, this is Mayim Bialik on Animal Radio. Please adopt a pet.
All of us here at Fido Friendly Magazine can't wait to get on the road again with our favorite Fido. We know that it's just not a vacation without our furry companions by our side. Start daydreaming now and visit FidoFriendly.com to scout out places near and far so you will be ready for your next adventure once it's safe to travel. That's FidoFriendly.com. Until then, stay safe and leave no dog behind.
This is an Animal Radio News Update.
I'm Lori Brooks. There are literally so many studies out there saying pets are good for your health. I cannot even begin to count how many there might be. But this latest one is very significant. It's a huge undertaking, 12 years in the making. They studied 3.4 million people and found that adult dog owners are less likely to die than their non-dog owning friends. Such long-lasting research, I mean, that many years, 12 years into so many people, millions, that kind of research is very hard to come by. Here's what they did. Researchers started following all of these people back in 2001, and they selected this group so that no participants had any pre-existing heart conditions, okay? So this should be pretty accurate. They found after 12 years that people with dogs had a 23% reduced risk of death from cardiac diseases like heart failure, stroke, and heart attack. But dog owners were also 20% less likely to die, period. Or as they're saying now, hard stop. So if you're a single dog owner, the news is even better. The study found that people who live on their own, single people with a dog, had a 33% reduced risk of death compared to their non-dog owning single counterparts. Now, why is that? Because single dog owners were shown to walk their dog a whole lot more often than those who live in multiple people or family households where the dog walking kind of gets done by a lot of different people. So not all dog breeds, by the way, healthily protected their owners equally. They found in this study that owners of hunting breed dogs had some of the lowest risk of developing cardiovascular disease and death. And people with pointer dogs specifically were 40% less likely to die. People with retrievers, for all you who have Goldens, they were 26% less likely to die. Again, probably because those hunters are out there getting more exercise. But overall, this study in Sweden pretty much backs up a very similar finding by the American Heart Association, which says dog owners get more exercise. They have better blood pressure and cholesterol levels, thanks to all of that dog walking stuff, and stress reduction because you've got that furry friend to comfort you. Finally, congratulations to Chi-Chi. You guys are going to thank me for this story. Chi-Chi is a 3-year-old golden retriever who lives in Arizona and has become a certified therapy dog. And you're thinking, oh, big deal, there are therapy dogs every day. It's not a new thing anymore. No. Chi-Chi is an extraordinary dog who has survived the South Korean meat industry. She was saved and flown from South Korea to Los Angeles, where all 4 of her legs had to be amputated because they were, frankly, rotting because she was in such bad health. She had been found in a garbage can. The story gets worse. I won't go there. But Chi-Chi now has 4 prosthetic legs and spends her time visiting a veterans center, an assisted living facility for elderly, and a special needs elementary school. So she covers the whole age group span there. She's an incredible story. And if you'd like to follow Chi-Chi and see her pictures, she's adorable. She's got pages on both Facebook and Instagram with about 45,000 followers that I'm sure will double after this story. Okay?
Very cool. Very cool. I love it.
Oh, she's
awesome.
Isn't that inspiring? I'm like, I love looking at that. You think you have a bad day. And you check in, and it's like, this dog is my hero.
Yeah.
I'm Lori Brooks. Get more breaking animal news anytime at animalradio.com.
This has been an Animal Radio News Update. Get more at animalradio.com.
You're listening to Animal Radio. If you missed any part of today's show, visit us at animalradio.com or download the Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android.
It's Animal Radio, celebrating the connection with our pets and our emotional service iguanas and squirrels, whatever it takes.
Turkeys,
yes. And for me, it's my cat, who is actually sitting in my lap right now.
Your cat is always in your lap.
It's like Velcro. She's always there and often very vocal, too. And you often hear her in the background. Of course, all our animals are in studio. In the newsroom, Roro with Lori.
Roro is snoring over there on the chair, and Tater is over here on the other chair.
They're so quiet today.
Yeah, they're all sleeping. We put them to sleep here in the studio.
You know who we have on Skype with us is Chris Gutierrez. He is the co-founder of Catcade. Now, what is Catcade, you ask? It is the first ever cat cafe, now open to the public in Chicago, I believe. Chris, how are you doing?
Fantastic. How are you guys doing today?
Very good. So tell us, how is Catcade doing and what is it all about?
All right. Well, we opened on August 19th. We are a video game themed cat cafe and rescue lounge. So what we do is we combine the elements of having like an adoption center, a cafe, and a lounge. We're our own rescue as well, because we are a nonprofit charity. And so what I did was my partner and I, Shelly Casey, decided to start this together. After traveling the world, going to several different cafes and rescues on 5 different continents over the course of years. And finally, we were just frustrated that Chicago didn't have one. And so we decided to start our own. And through the grace and generosity of so many donors, we were able to open our doors in August. And to this date, we have saved almost 100 animals in 3 months.
Well, I commend you for that. Your clientele are these people that want to adopt animals and then they also want to play asteroids?
Yes, as a matter of fact, that's true. It's funny because, there's a lot of things that have themes these days, and we kind of just figured we wanted to set ourselves apart. Well, we do as just as people in general. Shelly and I both are kind of the oddballs and the weirdos, and we were never like picked first for the kickball team in school and whatnot. And so we wanted to do something that was a little bit different and appeal to a different demographic. And so we figured, hey, let's put arcade game, like make it an arcade game theme and put arcade games in there and turn some of the arcade games into cat beds. And so what we wanted to do is basically, the more we understand, it's a stick. All right, we get it. But the more bodies that come through the door, the more animals we can save. And so if you're going out with your friends on a night and 3 of you guys want to go to the cat cafe and 1 doesn't, well, guess what? There's something for that person who doesn't want to be there. There's something for them to do. So you can play Miss Pac-Man, you can play Galaga and Asteroids, and we also show movies and everything. So basically we're set up in a way for it to feel like you're hanging out in someone's living room.
Where do the cats come from?
We get them from all over the place. Basically, we don't discriminate from wherever they need help. We pull everywhere from Chicago all the way as far down as we've saved animals from the Hurricane Irma from Texas. We've done southern Indiana, Hazard County in Kentucky, and northern Alabama. So we have cats from all over the United States.
So you must be a big cat lover, and I don't know if you get a lot of flack, but we give Hal here a lot of flack.
I don't know why
he's
you
a big cat lover, and I think it's awesome to see a guy that likes cats.
Well,
Right.
What I didn't realize is when I got started and involved in the rescue community is how few guys there are involved in this, and so we have partnered with another shelter who are basically our mentors, felines and canines, who are doing amazing work, especially with FIV cats. But they basically said, you are going to stick out like a sore thumb. And I said, why? And they said, because you're a guy. And I'm like, really? And they're like, and you're a guy covered in tattoos. And I was like, oh, really? Is that not a thing? And they're like, yeah, you're definitely going to stick out. So I didn't know that was a thing.
You got Jackson Galaxy.
Jackson Galaxy, yeah, I know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Is it paying for itself? How are you funded? How are you keeping the doors open?
You know, initially, our initial startup was all crowdfunding. We did an Indiegogo, and through the Indiegogo and private contributions, we raised almost $30,000.
Wow.
Yeah, and so we understood that the location was going to be everything, foot traffic, visibility. And so we found an amazing space after 6 months of looking every single day in the heart of Chicago in the Lakeview neighborhood. And it is right on a main strip. It's a great, wonderful location. So we opened our doors through that. And then we charged $15 an hour per person to hang out in our lounge. Now, some that tends to be high for some places and tends to be low compared to other places. But basically, that is the lowest amount that we've realized that we can charge in order to keep our doors open, continue to saving animals, and maybe buy a pizza for one of us every now and then.
Sure.
So it's a labor of love. We
Yeah.
don't get huge donations like other shelters. We survive on $15 increments.
Yeah. The video games are free, though, aren't they? They're
Absolutely.
Yeah, so you don't have to put quarters into the video games there. And hanging out with cats, I mean, it's proven to look how calm and relaxed I am.
Yes.
Ladies, would you say I'm...
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
Yes. How many cats do you usually have there at one time?
Well, our lounge where the cats live is about 600 square feet. And so we have anywhere from, depending on our adoption rate, we try to keep it around low 20s.
And in the evenings, they stay there on the premises when you close your doors?
That's where they live. That's their home.
Very, very cool. If people want to learn more, is there a website?
Yes, it's thecatcade.org. And it's like arcade, but catcade.
Easy to remember. Of course, we'll put links to everything you've heard on today's show over at animalradio.pets. Chris, thank you so much for hanging with us and telling us about the Catcade.
Thank you guys so much for having me. It was a pleasure.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Call the Dream Team now with the free Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android.
The old way of living with diabetes is a pain. You've got to remember to do your testing and always need to stick your fingers to test your blood sugar. The new way to live your life with diabetes is with a continuous glucose monitor. Apply a discrete sensor on your body, and it continuously monitors your glucose levels, helping you spend more time in range and freeing you from painful finger sticks. If you are living with type 1 or type 2 diabetes and you administer insulin 3 or more times per day or use an insulin pump, you might be eligible for a CGM through your insurance benefits. U.S. Med partners with over 500 private insurance companies and Medicare. We offer free shipping, 90-day supplies, and we bill your insurance. Call us today for a free benefits check.
800-785-1673. 800-785-1673. 800-785-1673. That's 800-785-1673.
Dogs or cats, horse or emu, animals are people too. Everybody's had trouble finding their car keys or maybe a TV remote, but when a California man lost his false teeth, he was convinced he didn't just misplace them. 68-year-old Bill Exner blamed the mouse, a mouse that Bill and his wife had captured 3 times, and 3 times it escaped. He last remembered seeing his dentures on his nightstand, and after searching all over the house for them, he convinced his daughter's fiancé to take a crowbar and hammer to the closet wall with a small hole in it where he'd seen the mouse run in. After tearing up some molding, the dentures were retrieved. Bill's future son-in-law suggested boiling the dentures in peroxide before putting them in. Bill's wife says the mouse frequently comes out and stares at him, taunting him. I'm Britt Savage for Animal Radio. Animals are people too. Animal Radio.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Call the Dream Team now with the free Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android.
And we go to Darlene. Hi, Darlene. How are you?
Hi, great.
What's going on in your world?
I have a 3-year-old Pomeranian who constantly digs at his front paws. I mean, for hours on end.
Okay. And is he bothering any other parts of his body or just on his feet?
Just on his feet. I've changed his diet. They put him on prednisone for a little while. It didn't seem to help.
Mm-hmm.
I changed to the natural balance food. It's just for hours on end. He keeps me up all through the night. He's miserable.
Oh, okay. Now, does he have hair loss there or any kind of color change?
Nope.
Anything? Nothing like that. He's just chewing away at those feet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I like some of the approaches that you started, because when we see a doggy that is chewing their feet, front feet, back feet, it tends to be a really a focus area where we can kind of call that a symptom of allergies. The tough thing is that there's a lot of things that can also look like allergies. For me, I always have to kind of take some samples, look at those feet area, because it's very common in the feet. We can miss some other things that can go along with that. And it does bother me. If the prednisone, a steroid, did not help with your pet's comfort, we might be barking down the wrong tree, if you will. So I want to make sure that we get some good eyeballs and evaluation of those feet areas. Some things we look for will be mites. We may see problems with yeast infections or bacterial infections in there.
Now,
so
2 months
that's
ago,
going to be
2 months ago, they treated him for a yeast infection, and that went away. And
Okay.
the biting has not.
Okay. Well, I mean, and that's definitely good, but then that kind of bothers me, because if his yeast has gone away and he's still showing those symptoms, we may have some underlying allergies there. So some thoughts that I would kind of share with you as far as with diets. There's definitely a lot of ways that we can go about with a pet with allergies, and just simply changing the diet isn't always enough. What we need to do is get very strict and go into more of a hypoallergenic diet. And there's some really good ones that your veterinarian can recommend. But even if you're not inclined to go that route, we can do some home-cooked hypoallergenic diets. And I have some local dermatologists that work with us, and sometimes they'll put a pet on a sweet potato pinto bean diet and just feed that and exclusively that. And if the symptoms go away, then we have a strong index of suspicion that we've got a food allergy, and then we can try to find something for a more long-term strategy. But just changing to another brand isn't always the same, because there's a lot of common ingredients in dog foods, whether they be proteins like chicken or beef, or there's something like a corn or a grain. So allergies happen with all sorts of things. So that's kind of that long story there. Now, some things I would encourage you to see your veterinarian for would be, if your pet's not already on a fatty acid, an omega fatty acid supplement, I would do that. And that's an oral, usually a liquid or a gel cap. One other thing that can help pets with bad skin disease, whether it's allergies or chronic infections, is something, it's a type of a spot-on, and it's called a ceramide spot-on. And this is something that's kind of new to veterinary dermatology, and it's really kind of, for me, it's helped a lot of my allergy patients. And it's basically a product that you apply to the skin, and it helps to restore the normal fats or lipids that are in the skin. And in pets that have skin disease, they don't have really good a protective barrier in their skin. So this is a way to help them kind of build up their defenses, if you will, against a lot of these skin problems. So ask for that. There's Allerderm has one. Duxo is another company that has one. There's several on the market.
Quick question, Doc. When you change your food to find out if it is an allergy, how long do you have to give that food? Just a couple days or a week?
No, that's a good question, Judy. You have to do that for at least 6 to 12 weeks. So it isn't something that you can tell right away. The other thing is, while you're doing that, and if you're doing a really strict hypoallergenic diet, you got to make sure there's no table food, there's no treats, and even flavored medications can interfere with that. So you can't do those kind of things too.
Wow.
So, yeah. So, and then the other thing, Darlene, I was going to mention, even though it sounds like your baby was evaluated at that time of that yeast infection, is a lot of itchy dogs, I will still do just a kind of cross my heart and hope that we covered all of our bases. We'll do a treatment for mites. And there are some topical treatments, selamectin is one of them, that we can do just to do that for a month or two to ensure that we don't have some kind of underlying mite problem, which can sometimes get confused with allergies in pets. So try the mites, try the diet. Fatty acids and the ceramides might be some of my solutions for you.
Okay, great.
Good luck with that, Darlene. And if you need a follow-up, let us know. We can do it for you. Once again, it has just flown by. I have so much fun. We all have a lot of fun when you're here with us. Join us next weekend. And if you happen to need your fix between now and then, head on over to animalradio.pet or download the Animal Radio app for iPhone, Android, and BlackBerry. Have yourself a great one.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Always a dogs, don't declaw.
This is Animal Radio Network.